What up, though?
Welcome to Woman Crush
Every
Every Day,
day.
where we discuss queer media, especially when it is black and especially when it is woman.
Woman.
I'm your host, Tang B, aka Sean B. Scribe.
And I'm your host, Allison, aka Al Woo.
And today we are going to discuss Beauty by Lena Waithe on Netflix.
Yes, indeed. But before we do that, subscribe! That's right, y'all. Get in there. See, I'm saucing it up. I'm seasoning it up. That subscribe button for y'all. Go ahead and tap that because it's tasty.
It's tasty. And there's something else that is tasty as well. Now streaming through obsidiantheaterfest.org, you can see the play we were a part of.
Yes, we own everything written by the fantabulous Tang B is a part of the festival. It opened and closed the Obsidian Theater Festival July. When did we do that? The 23rd through the 26th?
Yes.
So really, really phenomenal experience if you're in the Detroit area. If you didn't come this year, be a part of it next year. Like, the growth is just going to continue, and watch it virtually. Watch it virtually. Go to obsidianfest.org.
Absolutely.
And check it out.
And you'll be able to see Al Wu, who's
My
featured
acting
in
chops.
there as an actor. Second year in a row for the festival.
You know,
Had to have her
hey,
back.
did a little something, you feel me?
Yes.
And it's important to tell these stories, though. It's important to tell these queer stories, because in this play I am playing a queer identified person, and you know, we need our stories told, and that's kind of what we do this for. That's why we're here, Woman Crush, and that's what y'all came here for.
Yes.
Y'all came to hear about this new queer media, so let's talk about Beauty on Netflix.
That's exactly why we're talking about Beauty. So you can stream it on Netflix. This was written by Lena Waithe. Let's just jump into it.
I feel like we should just jump into it.
Let's start
There's
with-
so much to say.
There is so much. Okay, the general premise is Beauty is a young starlet who is a singer and waiting to make it big, and it's kind of about what her family thinks about that, but also this relationship with her love interest, Jazz.
Yes, Jazz, her love interest is a woman.
A woman.
In the, what are we, in the late 80s?
Yeah.
90s, early 90s?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
And, you know, obviously that was not the era for that. They were not as proud
For the
back then
gays.
as we are now.
Yeah.
And the story really kind of revolves around, not revolves around, but it hints at a lot how that queer identity could have made or broken Beauty's career as a solo star.
Yeah.
So with that, favorite part.
Okay, it's a tie. So I love when, actually this all happens in one thing. So we're at the end of the movie. Beauty is in her dressing room getting ready to do her first kind of like big television appearance. And so one of the favorite moments is when this neighbor guy, who we don't need, comes into the dressing room and gives Beauty flowers. And Beauty is trying to convince him that she is the greatest singer in the world. And she tells Jazz, like, tell him that I'm the best singer in the world. And she's just like, she's the best singer in the world. And that was so
hilarious.
funny. But my second favorite scene was a little later in that clip, where they're doing a montage of kind of Beauty and Jazz's moments together, and they finally kiss on the lips. Like, because they do the whole
Kiss
movie like
on the lips. Heard.
Butterfly kisses, cheek kisses, nose kiss, like forehead kiss.
Yeah.
But to actually see them lock lips, I was waiting for it.
The gays need it.
We need it.
The gays need to see that.
it.
You know, I know the straights don't need it, but we need it.
We really need it, especially in a movie where somebody tells their parents, like, what? We're just friends. It's like, I, as an audience member,
Yes.
who is looking at this and saying, this is a familiar story to me. This is a familiar love to me. I want to see this play out. I also need to know, like, are you for play, or is this more than your friend?
That's almost Queer Canon. That almost needs to go, like, we could really go there.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna.
We'll come back.
I'm not
We'll
gonna
come
snatch
back.
your story up. I will let you live. No, yeah, that was such a funny moment. That happened like at the end of the movie, but that was a really, really funny. That was a funny moment, because also we kind of go through seeing Beauty and Jazz's relationship start to disintegrate. And I think that was Jazz kind of expressing like, I'm really kind of over what's happening right now. Things are changing between us. But the tone was hilarious.
Yes.
Elise Shannon ate that line, okay?
Excellent.
Ate that line.
The dryness, spot on.
Spot on. Thank you for that humor. I'm going to have to say that, you know how hard I laughed when that scene came around. So definitely that's on the list of favorite moments. But I also loved, I love the moment where when Beauty gets her own apartment and Jazz and Beauty share this moment of softness and intimacy that's not like hypersexualized, but it's still really like sexy.
Yeah.
There's this moment when like Beauty hits the back of Jazz's neck and just kind of like caresses her, and I felt that. I feel like every stud in America felt that. I feel like every Mask of Center queer woman felt that one. Like, yes, just the embrace, and the way that it was played too was just like, we all felt it, like how much she wanted to be there, how much they both wanted to be there, and just experience each other's love and energy. And I thought that played really, really beautifully.
This is like when they're slow dancing together.
Yeah, to Tender Love.
Yes.
It was, and then the soundtrack,
The soundtrack for this is crazy.
But I feel like everything that Lena Waithe does, the soundtrack just be like, oh my gosh,
Always.
what are we doing? Oh my, just jam after jam after jam. Last thing I'm gonna say for favorite moments is when, what is her name? Beauty. Beauty is watching. You see these moments where she's listening to singers that influenced her, and there's this joint they play by the Clark sisters, Karen Clark Sheard, called "Jesus Is a Love Song." Y'all, first off, I did not know this song. Okay, and I have my own history of how I missed a lot of Clark sister songs. But I've never heard this song, and this was a whole vibe, like a whole bop.
Yeah.
The note, I mean, I know this has nothing to do with the movie, but I feel like because it was in the movie and now I know about it, I have to honor that and just say that was a favorite moment, hit after hit on through this.
So rewatch the part with the Clark sisters.
Rewatch Jesus Is a Love Song.
It's gorgeous. So you want to anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, yes, the soundtrack is fire. Woman crush. Who's your woman crush in this movie?
Off top, I feel like I want to give it to Beauty, played by Gracie Marie Bradley.
Nice.
Oh my gosh! Actually, I'm like,
While you double check.
I'm ruining it. Please, oh my gosh, I'm like, is it? But her and Niecy Nash Betts.
Yes,
I have to throw her into my woman crush as well. I thought she killed this role.
First, can I just say I'm loving seeing Niecy Nash.
Yes,
always. I've always loved Niecy Nash.
Say it.
But now to have her in our family, in the fold.
Yes.
In the fam.
Yes.
It's even more delightful to see her on screen.
I hear
at
that.
all times.
I hear that. Yeah, I'm a fan. We stand for Niecy Nash Betts, and
you better say the whole
I'm
thing.
putting bets on there because we need to put the bets on there.
Yeah,
Niecy wants us to put the bets on there. Like, it's on her
she
profile.
Said,
like,
I'm married. Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Bets of both worlds. I was like, that's the cutest thing ever. Also,
yes.
And I just want to shout it out. But it is Bradley.
Okay,
it is Bradley. So, but Gracie Marie Bradley, just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I'm like, where did she come from in the earth? I don't know, but I do know that I'm glad that she was found.
Yeah,
and is here to share all of her talents. So shout out that.
She did an excellent job. I'm going to have to give it character-wise to Jazz.
Come on.
Because, Beauty with this dude coming to the door, and you talk about because you haven't seen me naked, and you invite him all into the dressing room, and then you're not really telling her what's up. You're not saying like, oh, I'm kind of interested in him, or I think he's cute, or I don't know, I kind of want to just real. Like reach out and expand things. We have to get like, Beauty, why didn't you watch Sam J's episode about open relationships? Why didn't you watch that so that you could know?
Yes. You
could just talk, just communicate. So I have to give it to Jazz because Jazz is like holding it down at her house, willing to talk back to her parents. I don't know if I would have appreciated that one, but I do appreciate that Jazz knows who she is and is not afraid of who she is.
That's real.
And the way she was holding her down, like when she's in the studio, she's like, you know what, she can't really dance. Why don't you just like do this, do wop, and then she can do her thing, and then it'll be good. And don't be talking about my girlfriend like she's an object or a racehorse or just this thing for you. Like, you need to give her some respect. And she was holding her down at every moment, and I just feel like Jazz is the woman crush. Beauty, you need to be more forward.
I agree with you. That was the flesh talking.
Beauty is gorgeous, though. I can see why Jazz was stuck around. She was like, I can't leave.
The better woman. Very clearly, Jazz is the better woman all around. But that's another story.
Yeah.
All right, so what can stay and what can go?
All right. What can stay is all this sensual love between Jazz and Beauty pre-neighbor guy showing up. And a little bit after that too. That can definitely stay. The music can stay. And not just the music, but like showing actual like footage of the women who are behind these voices. And making sure that they get their visual and audio shine so that there's a connection to who they are and whose voice this is and why this voice matters to her. That can stay. Cinematography was gorgeous. That can stay. What can go is daddy's trying to take your money when they ain't do anything to earn it. What can go is all the violence in the house. Like the dad threatening to slap the mom. The dad threatening to slap the daughter. Throwing the daughter against the refrigerator. Telling the son to kill the daughter's girlfriend or whatever. Get rid of her. Make her go away. The brothers fighting each other. Like, this family breeds a lot of turmoil. And that's pretty sad to see. So that can go, not as part of the storyline, because that's a real thing for people's lives, but just like in the world. Yeah. In the world, we could get rid of the interfamily violence.
Speak.
Speak. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, so my what can stay, what can go, I'm going to piggyback off of the music vibe. I thought it was really, really beautifully done to have, to lift up all these other Black women vocalists.
Yeah.
Who aren't like necessarily all, I mean, big names, but I think anytime we can take a moment to celebrate these people who really influenced one of the greatest voices of all time. And, let me go ahead, actually, let me kind of transition, because I do feel like we would be remiss to not mention the conversation around who this story is based off of.
Yeah.
Or
who we suspect it might be closely related
to.
Yeah,
and actually, I'm going to say based off of, because I think that is not necessarily the case. I think, but knowing the similarities that are present in this story with the icon that is Whitney Houston, like, I think that, we got to acknowledge.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels.
that there's a lot of parallels going on, but this is obviously not Whitney Houston's story.
Yeah.
So, I think I just want to also be very mindful about throwing that into the mix and making sure that when folks see this, that this isn't just all about that. Like, I think we can acknowledge the pieces that are similar, the things that we know, but then there are so many things that we don't know.
Yeah.
I think, just allow the story to stand for itself. But I'm saying all that to say, we don't hear this voice.
We don't hear Beauty.
We don't hear Beauty sing, but I think that was also a really dope creative choice, because who's about to sing, who's about to be the greatest voice?
Yeah,
who's about to be the greatest voice? Like, we can't.
And there are so many other greatest voices that were already out there that did get to get showcased. The whole point is this voice is built off of all these other voices that come before that inspire the voice.
So I thought that could stay.
Yeah.
I thought, like, choosing to uplift all these other voices and kind of speak to the greatness and voices that were around in the time. And I mean, I'm not trying to, like, knock music now, but I mean, like, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Well, and to keep the focus.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like, although this story has many parallels to this one particular singer that we know, it could have many parallels to identities of these greats that we never got to see.
Come on.
Because of the way society is set up. Because of the things that get tackled in this film, which I'm going to hold on to for Queer Canon. But, we don't know that this isn't the story of all of these other great voices that we honor and worship. We don't know that that's not part of their story.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm sorry. That wasn't the point. I got you. It wasn't the point. I'll reel it in. Yes. Yeah. But we adore these voices.
Yes. Adore
that we admire.
Another.
Yeah. So that was dope. That was bars. So yeah, I think that can say. I think, you kind of took what I was saying, but also, like, pushed it a little bit to say that's the piece that can stay. The fact that it isn't, that the story wasn't so tailored to one specific identity that you couldn't see how this story parallels so many other experiences.
Yeah.
And that, I think, was really dope.
Yeah.
I think that was really dope. And I think it gives it space to be impactful for people outside of this generation. To not be like, oh, I'm going to watch this woman's story. But it's like, I'm watching so many people's stories. And allowing people to find themselves in a person. I appreciate that nuance in that space. What can go? I always hate the white lady or white man who comes in to, finesse you into a situation, to finesse the black person into a particular situation. I think it can go the way that fame can kind of tarnish people's relationships and the way they see each other and respect others. There was so much of the story that Beauty really kind of had to choose between being this icon or being gay, you know what I mean? And I think
and pro black, like
super
black.
Yeah. So those situations where black folk, queer folk have to choose their identity or what matters to them, they have to prioritize those things, and I hate that. And I am glad that we're in a place now where more queer black women can be all of those things. We can be all of those things and still get it and be dope.
Yeah.
But that can go.
Yeah, that can go from life.
And I can get out of here. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, where does this fit in the queer canon?
I I think a lot of, when thinking about what can stay, I feel like that's kind of where it fits in the queer canon. I love that there's this, that we have this, a story that puts a queer woman at the highest of heights. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
She is the one.
She's the one. She is the GOAT, you know? And we have somebody who is also, a woman-loving woman in that space. Now, how much that lasted, what that really meant, IDK, but that doesn't matter. The point is we have that. I want to lift up, I don't know, maybe this should have gone somewhere else, but you know, when I was talking about Niecy Nash, I feel like I want to just bring it back into how much I want to celebrate Niecy Nash and her being married to a woman and her loving her husband hard as hell and just representing, you know, for Black women loving women. Like, I think bringing this team together, you know, like to have Lena Waithe write this, produce this, to bring in the heavyweights, you know, to bring in new voices, and to craft these unique stories that aren't so on the head too. I think like this story, the fact that it isn't just like, here we go, this is the situation, the inciting incident, and then we go from this problem, and then there's another problem. Like, I feel like the structure of it, I like that it kind of starts to break us out of a very particular mold that we see in filmmaking, and that there are queer Black women making these and at the forefront of these things.
Are you saying queer Black women are queering film?
I'm definitely saying that queer Black women are queering film and media and doing a really, really beautiful job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Have to agree. For me, the queer canon, one is, I have to start with Niecy Nash too, and the character she played of the mom, because I felt like this was such an interesting position and different from what we've seen in other films where the mom is just like, you can't be gay. And that wasn't really her position. Yeah. Her position is, one, I've tried to be a star before and I know what they do to you. 2 is they're going to be all up in your business. And 3 is the world isn't ready for this. I mean, look at your daddy. He just tried to get your girl killed. Come on. And so just to have the mother there who is just like, I know who you are. I know what you're doing. I don't sleep in the bed with my friends. That was a great line.
Actually, that should have been on favorite moments. That should have been in favorite moments list. Because that smack.
That was she more than your friend.
Whoop, bloop, bloop.
Oh, that smack came right after that. It's because only your friend.
Because like God is your only friend. Like, I was ready with the hit too. Like, I was like, who was he talking to? Girl,
do not do that to your mama.
That took me out.
Okay, but for her mom to pay attention and see who she is and not pick a problem with what she's doing, but to point out, you won't feel so safe when everybody is watching. And I feel like that was an important piece of the conversation, and even understanding like why Beauty chose to begin this flirtation with the neighbor, and thinking about the ways in which the world is who can pull you away from who you are. Sometimes it's the people who created us and who have this preset expectation, but sometimes it's the world that we come into that truly isn't ready for who we are yet. And so I want to give Beauty that bit of grace, Beauty the character, that bit of grace of being in a world that doesn't want her to win in all ways. Only wants her to win in the ways that they want her to be the picture that they are wanting. So I feel like, that's really important to have in the queer canon and to think about. And also the brother that stood up for Beauty and Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two brothers. Are they Cain and Abel?
They are Cain and Abe. I think they call him Abe.
Cain and Abe. So they're obviously at odds because biblical. And one of them has been given the task by the father to get rid of Jazz. And the other pretty much fights the brother who is willing to carry out the father's orders. And I thought it was nice that this brother knew all along, like, oh, you be kissing your girlfriend up in this room. It's cool. Like, I'm gonna let you smoke a little bit of my weed and I'm gonna be a brother. Just chill. You not hurting nobody. You not hurting me. And she pretty cool. So to see that camaraderie in family, I love that. It reminded me of Pariah with the little sister who was just like, I don't care who you love.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't care. I'm still going to be an annoying little sister, but that part I really don't care about.
You know, shout out siblings.
Yeah.
Shout out the siblings.
They be saving the day.
You know, I thought of a couple more things too. I was thinking about, how, like, thinking about the canon, I'm thinking about Lena Waithe as a writer and filmmaker and producer, and I think we're also in a place where it's like really seeing Lena Waithe's canon and like place in the queer canon, like seeing the storytelling modes, and kind of vibes and like the cerebral sort of vibe where we're not really, I mean, I kind of spoke about this before, but I just want to kind of acknowledge that I think that's dope to be in a place where you're developing your own, like, and just watching that be gay and and be pushing the envelope, and I just think that's really interesting. Damn, and there was one more thing I was gonna say. Here we go. I think it's so important that we talk about that we honor our masculine of center, like, folks. Because I think this story, we see Beauty like doing her thing, but I like this conversation of like, what does it mean to be that unsung masculine of center person? You know what I'm saying? When film presenting people get to soar and get to be famous, and they can compartmentalize in ways that people who are like, this is who I am and I'm not going to compromise. Just, it's so much more difficult to, you know, to live in your truth and be successful. And masculine center folks don't get the credit. Like, we don't really get to hear their stories as often as I think we should. And I think this story it's not called Jasmine. Okay. It's called Beauty. It's about beauty, but we do see how film presenting people can play the game, do play masculine center people in order to live their life and, you know, take all the spoils, you know. So I just want to shout out the studs. That's really what this is about right now. I'm saying this to say that I see you, and also I see the contributions, you know, the contributions that are being made by folks who are not celebrated, who are hidden, who are almost killed, who, you know, like, all of these things that are put in place to try to tear these people down, but their impact is everlasting. You know, their presence will always be there, and it'll always be a part of Beauty's story and whomever else's story that these folks are supporting and loving on when they can't be publicly really loved. So I don't know. That's
think
where I'm at.
That is so real. That's so real, and especially real in the context of this story where Beauty is the public face, but Jazz is the reason that people know Beauty maybe isn't as mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is, I don't want to say commendable, but I want to say important. I want to just agree and say important to have that visibility. And I say not commendable because I don't think that anybody living in their truth should be like,
oh,
yeah, for an award, because I don't think that's what people are living for.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, there's a heavier burden, and yeah, I appreciate thinking about the intersection and the nuance within queer identity, and that we don't all wear it the same, and therefore we're not all perceived the same, and we have to deal with different things. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Beauty, I want her to get her act together.
Yeah, man. Beauty was choosing the bag, and I get it. The bag is important, but when you lose yourself, I'm like, yeah, what's that Bible verse? See, I should know it, but I don't know. You give up everything, you lose your soul. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what would you trade? You know what I'm saying? I feel like this story is that line. Like, what is it to gain the world and lose your soul? Like.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Hold on to your soul.
And it be like the real ones, like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't have to do it. But if you must, free yourself. You know. And I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna find my happiness, and it can exist outside of you.
Yeah, I hope that's what happens for Jazz. I hope she found another.
I'm claiming that.
More beautiful than Beauty.
Yep. Beautifuler.
Yep. Without, a daddy who will send somebody to have
put
beat
the
up
hit out
behind the train tracks or whatever happened back there. So thank you for this film. Beauty was beautiful. I did enjoy it. I will be going back to watch them butterfly kiss each other and like caress each other's faces and lay on the floor and listen to music and giggle. Like, I'm here for it. Yes.
If you want to watch a movie that'll just get you in your feels a little bit, and I was like, I feel like this movie is the perfect Netflix and chill movie. Like, you want to get your lady, right? Get some popcorn, okay? Watch Beauty.
Yeah.
You will enjoy yourself.
Relax.
See, we're going to turn this off now. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. And until next time.
Peace.